Given the new social and economic realities, boomers are undergoing transitions that in some cases require reinventing themselves. As baby boomers transition into the next stage of life, are they suffering stress overload which leaves them feeling exhausted, frazzled, and sometimes defeated? Can these feelings be ascribed to hidden beliefs which may be presenting obstacles to making a successful life transition? Do these subconscious beliefs limit a person in achieving his or her full potential? How are these hidden beliefs manifested? Is there a relationship between one's subconscious beliefs and success in one's personal, financial, and work life? What is the most effective way that a person can become aware of these hidden or subconscious beliefs? What can you do to better understand and change these beliefs? What steps can one take to reinforce positive thoughts? Hello, my name is Attorney Ramsey Bahrawy, and welcome to Your Money, Your Life. To answer these and many other questions, I'm joined by Gail Jones, a belief change expert, author, life coach, and workshop leader who has been empowering adults in transition for 19 years. Her primary focus is in helping baby boomers create a happy and prosperous second half of life. She's the author of To Hell and Back, Healing Your Way Through Transition. She writes a bi-weekly newspaper column called Gifts of Change. Gail, welcome to Your Money, Your Life. It's great to have you on the program.
Great to be here, Ramsey.
Now, you told me off air you were once a writer, an editor. You also were involved with a high-tech company. What provided you with the motivation? How is it that you made this career change?
Well, I love to write. I've always loved to write, and I love supporting people. As a high-tech PR executive, I was coaching entrepreneurs how to bring their products and services to market, and decided that I wanted to bring the helping work into a more personal level. Mm-hmm. So in becoming a life coach, I help people create the mindset to succeed. When we're rewiring someone for success, it's really important that they say the right words to themselves internally.
Sure. And
when I create statements for them to use every day, the wording of those statements is really key. So the fact that I'm a journalist and a coach is significant.
Okay. Now, you also explained to me that in your coaching, you focus on what you refer to as hidden beliefs. Why do you focus on hidden beliefs?
I'm passionate about this because what most people don't understand is we live our adult lives based on subconscious beliefs created the first 6 years in life. 90% of our choices are based on those subconscious beliefs, and only 10% on our conscious intellectual choices. So if you're in a transition or trying to create a new financial identity or a new relationship or a new career, and you don't understand what those beliefs are that are running your life, you end up getting stuck and feeling blocked.
Okay. All right. So you say there are these subconscious or hidden beliefs and that they somehow present an obstacle.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about some examples, and I actually have written some things down here. For example, what I would think is a hidden, and please correct me if these are not hidden beliefs. I work just to pay the bills.
Right.
Right? Or, geez, I'm not good enough.
Right.
Or, gee, I don't deserve somebody's love.
Right.
Or, I'll never lose that weight. Or, I'll never be pretty enough. Are these all the kinds of beliefs you're talking about?
Yes, you nailed quite a few
I've
of
nailed
them.
It. Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
But I'll say one key belief, there's a couple core beliefs that are really important to focus on. There are many, and each of us has individual ones in addition to the generic ones that hold us back. But the belief that I am enough plays out in so many areas of our life. If we don't believe we're enough, and that belief was formed in early years that we weren't enough, often because we had an overly critical parent, then we will never have enough money, we will never have enough love. And in order to have that, in order to manifest more love or more money or more career success, we have to reparent ourselves in the ways we were criticized to know that we are enough.
Okay.
So it's an internal job before you go looking for the external situation to change.
Okay, let me present a couple of scenarios, and you tell me if this fits in with what you just talked about. You have a son or daughter, very interested in athletics and is pursuing athletics, and the parents come to the son or daughter and say, look, you're not going to amount to anything as an athlete. You're really not good enough. Only the top 1%, 2% of the athletes in the country can actually make a living being an athlete. Why bother? Why don't you do something that's more practical? You're wasting your time. Or you have someone who's perhaps interested in a particular course of study, somebody who's interested in, let's say, sociology or geology or the study of fossils, let's say, and the parent says, listen, this is not practical. Why don't you study nursing? Why don't you study teaching? Why don't you get yourself involved in a practical endeavor, and perhaps have this as a hobby? Are these the sort of negative things that you're talking about?
Right. Well, when comments like that negate the child's authenticity or their uniqueness, and another core belief from our early conditioning that's really important to be instilling in our children and to reinstill in ourselves is I matter. So if a child's coming with an interest or a passion and we're not honoring it, we're basically telling that child teaching them at a subconscious level that they don't matter. And in order to have healthy self-esteem and to create from our joy and our passion and to be validated, we need to know we matter.
Right, right. So are we talking somebody who's 2 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old, 7, 10?
By the first 6 years of life, those subconscious beliefs are formed.
I see.
And as adults, when we go back and look at those blocks that are running us, again, 90% of our adult choices are based on those subconscious beliefs. And it takes a lot of vigilance, and depending on our age, if you're 40, 50, or 60, you've been holding that belief for 40, 50, or 60 years. So you have to make the commitment to changing that belief, and that's where I come in and help clients.
Well, if this is all subconscious or hidden, how does a person even know that they have this belief system, and that this belief system in some way is a hindrance or an obstacle to them reaching their full potential?
Often people don't know. That's why they're called hidden beliefs.
Okay. So as someone who coaches people, and we know that the baby boom generation is going through a very significant transition. Some baby boomers are starting their retirement years but may not retire. They may continue working. Other baby boomers may be changing careers. They're at a current age where they're like, okay, I did such and such, that's in my past, now I want to go forward and do something else. And if they have these hidden beliefs or subconscious beliefs that in fact may prevent them from being able to successfully make the transition, how do you as a life coach help them? What is it that you do?
There are two things I want to say. In a transition, been guiding adults in transition for 19 years. Our nation's in transition now. What most people don't understand about transition, there are 3 key stages to transition. Letting go of the identity we had before. The middle stage is embracing the void, or the neutral zone, not knowing what you're doing next. And the third stage is recreating. Okay. Transitions are an ideal time to do this belief work, especially when you're in the second stage of not knowing. Because in order to instill new beliefs, you really want to help the client have a clean slate or a quiet place to reflect, to allow the new neural pathways in the brain to be formed. Typically, we create either from chaos or panic, and when we do that, we end up repeating what we left, or through quiet. I begin with a client by coaching them to have 20 minutes a day of quiet. And in that quiet, I teach them how to create new beliefs. There are 6 core beliefs that give us a healthy self-esteem foundation. And from that healthy self-esteem, we can create greater finance, happier relationships, and more professional success. So those 6 beliefs are, a core belief is I am lovable, and I would have the client say, I allow myself to know I'm lovable, and then track evidence every day of knowing they're lovable. The physical act of writing down the evidence helps instill the neural pathway in the brain. I matter, we talked about that. I allow myself to know I matter. I am worthy. I have value because I exist. I have something of value to contribute to others. And I can handle myself and my environment with competence.
Okay, so these are all positive thoughts.
These are the 6 core beliefs to healthy self-esteem that you want to reparent yourself with if you didn't get, and then we definitely want to be teaching our children.
Okay. And so how often do you recommend that people repeat these positive thoughts to themselves?
Daily.
Daily.
Absolutely daily.
Okay.
A couple minutes a day. And going back to the hidden beliefs, usually we need someone to mirror it to us. It's really hard to find where we're stuck ourselves. Another leap for people to understand is whatever is happening externally in our lives is the manifestation of an internal belief. And there's only 2 conscious ways to change a limiting negative belief. By consciously The only way you can change a subconscious limiting belief is through repetition of a healthy new belief or through visualization, using your imagination to create new. And again, that's daily vigilance. It takes 6, 8, 10 minutes a day to focus on the new outcome you want, because you're training your brain to look for something it's never had before.
I would think it's going to take a tremendous amount of repetition, because if you're talking about baby boomers, which I believe you are,
Right.
You're talking about a belief system that's been in existence for 40, 50 years,
Right.
right? And now all of a sudden we're trying to make this significant change,
Right.
right? So I would think it's going to take a lot of work to change that. Now I want to move on to, you mentioned to me that you are today focusing on the baby boom generation.
Right.
Why are you focusing on that generation?
Because I think that second half of life is an awesome time in our development to come into our full selves and authenticity, and a lot of us want to give back, and we want to do things in a different way. And rather than spend years and years of rehashing what didn't happen in the past, what didn't work in the past, instilling beliefs around self-love now enables us to create new second halves of life that are very fulfilling. And this process, while it sounds like it's a lot of work, it only takes a few minutes a day of focusing on these beliefs.
Now let's talk a little bit about finances. Now you mentioned a little bit earlier that if you can change your hidden beliefs, sort of recalibrate them, so to
Yes.
speak, that you can have more success in your personal and your financial and your work life.
Right.
I mentioned earlier that there's a phrase that I work to pay the bills.
Right.
Well, if I work only to pay the bills, I really don't have any incentive to do any more than that, do
Right.
I? Another issue could be, well, if all I'm doing is working to pay the bills, then maybe I should just go off and charge a storm. I can see where financially that there are other issues that can crop up out of this one belief.
Absolutely.
I only work to pay the bills.
Well, and that belief is based on lack. I don't
Okay.
have enough, I won't have enough. Okay, it goes back to the belief I'm not
So
enough.
I always need to have more.
Right.
I see.
But I'd also like to say a couple other things on
Sure,
finance.
go ahead.
Fear of success, the underlying subconscious belief around fear of success is fear of being alone. A lot of people are afraid to go the next leap financially or just in more visibility in their lives because they're afraid if they go the next leap they'll be alone. They'll leave their family of origin, they'll leave people they're comfortable with. Look at lottery winners. Statistically, lottery winners blow it. They don't keep the money because they're not accustomed to a wealth identity. It's scary, so they sabotage it. So what I tell my clients, particularly entrepreneurs that are growing businesses, is build a support team now of 8, 9, 10 people, personal acquaintances, colleagues, friends, family, so that as you're going up, you already know you're not alone. You have your team.
Okay, it's interesting you mentioned lottery winner. I actually had a client who was a lottery winner. I said, you now have a responsibility for managing that money.
Right.
And she said, I do? I said, yeah. I said, money comes with responsibility.
Absolutely. Because it was
She made bad decisions.
And it was uncomfortable probably for her to be in a wealth identity. It was too scary. So you don't know you're doing it. It's subconscious.
Yeah.
Being a lawyer, you might see this a lot too. The times when people most get into debt, financial debt, are after a divorce or a death. And while those financial structures are changed because of the dividing up of assets or whatever, underlying, again, is a subconscious belief. People start acting out their pain through spending. So what I would tell somebody as a coach, if you're going through a divorce or there's been a major death in your family of somebody you really care about, don't do anything different financially for a year.
Right, right. And I'm more familiar with the death situation.
Right.
And I completely agree with you that after you've lost your spouse or significant other or whatever the case may be, don't change what you've been doing financially for at least a year.
Right.
Don't make any major decisions with regard to your finances because Most decisions are emotional, but these types of decisions are highly emotional.
Right.
And highly emotional decisions are often bad decisions.
Right. And from the coaching perspective, what I would tell the client is you have to feel the feelings, you have to feel the pain, you have to allow yourself to grieve. Don't go spend money. Sit there and allow yourself to cry and allow yourself to acknowledge that your life has been changed and you lost someone you love.
Right. All right. How is it that you became involved in belief work?
Because I'm a rebel.
You're a rebel, okay.
And I was told not to go near belief work because it's too hard to change a belief. And I thought, well, if that's where change happens, why would you avoid that?
And I would have to think that, based on your explanation, that the hidden beliefs are also very, very powerful, because they seem to have a hold on a person, and they seem to influence how a person is going to behave in a variety of situations.
Absolutely.
And that's very powerful.
Right.
And then you need to break that grip.
Right.
And I would think you need something equally as powerful or more powerful to break that grip.
Right. And that's where the vision board comes in. When I have a client create a vision board of what they want in their life, there's a science to it. It's not just cutting out magazine pictures and words. The way you place the words, the way you pick the pictures, you want them to think of expansion, a bigger version of themselves. But one statement I have every client put on their vision board is, I am worthy.
Sure. Now, do you think that some of these hidden thoughts could be, or hidden beliefs rather, could be a coping mechanism that people use? And let me give you a scenario.
Sure.
I mean, we hear oftentimes with people who are older, and they will say, you know what, I can't learn anymore. I can't learn a new language, or I don't want to go back to school. I just don't have the capability. I mean, is that really more of a coping mechanism, saying, you know what, I really don't want to go there, I'm afraid of failure, so I'm just going to say I can't do it?
There are some people that are scared to change. Change is frightening, but change is a part of our lives. It's thrown at us every day.
Yeah. That the idea of hidden beliefs and the way it's controlling your life and preventing you from reaching your true potential, it's got to be very stressful. And I think, again, these are my personal opinions, and I would think that if you can undo all of that, you can also remove a lot of your stress. Am I not right?
Absolutely. Well, stress is based on thought a lot. People think it's their external situation, but it's our response to the external situation, and we all have the power to control our thoughts.
Modern life is filled with stress-inducing events such as deadlines, frustrations, demands, and nuisances. In addition, the media bombards us with negative stories concerning financial troubles, human failures, terrorist threats, natural disasters, medical disappointments, and political problems. If that isn't enough, then sprinkle in life challenges such as layoffs, unemployment, illness, money woes, home foreclosure, work issues, and relationship issues. Then add a helping of subconscious thoughts and ideas that prevent a person from achieving his or her true potential. It isn't difficult to see that stressful situations are constant and even inevitable. However, as Gail Jones shared with us, negative hidden thoughts can interfere with your ability to improve your happiness. So much so that your mind, body, and relationships pay the price. The key is in learning to recognize your subconscious beliefs and how to effectively change them to improve your life. Only then can you take positive steps to reduce the harmful effects of these thoughts. Therefore, educate yourself to become more aware about the influence of subconscious thought on your work, financial, and personal life. For as Ben Franklin is quoted as saying, an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. In closing, thanks to my guest Gail Jones for participating on this program, and as always, thank you to you, our viewers, for watching Your Money, Your Life. My name is Attorney Ramsey Bahrawy, building your trust.
Thank you.
Thank you.